Sometimes the most beautiful trap is the one you walk into willingly. My name is Brian, and I thought I had it all figured out. After 30 years of grinding in corporate America, I finally hit my magic number. Enough money to retire at 55 and live like a king somewhere warm. I chose Phuket, Thailand. The land of eternal summer, they said, where your dollar stretches like elastic and every sunset looks like a postcard. I thought I was escaping to paradise. I had no idea I was walking straight into the most expensive lesson of my life. The plane touched down in Phuket, and I felt it immediately, that rush of freedom. No more alarm clocks, no more meetings about meetings, no more pretending to care about quarterly reports. I was done with all of it. The humidity hit me like a warm blanket as I stepped outside the airport. Everything smelled different here. Frangipani flowers, street food, ocean salt. This was my new beginning. My golden years were actually going to be golden. I had done my research. Phuket was perfect for expats like me. Cheap living, amazing food, friendly people, and beaches that made California look like a parking lot. I had enough saved up to live comfortably for decades, maybe even help some locals along the way. I liked the idea of being the generous American, spreading a little wealth around. My first week I stayed in a hotel near Patong Beach. Too touristy, too loud, too many drunk Australians. But the other beaches, Kata, Kar and Rawai, now those were special. I rented a small villa in Rawai, walking distance to the beach with a little garden and a view of the fishing boats. Life was simple. I'd wake up when I wanted, have coffee on my terrace, walk to the beach, eat incredible food for a few dollars and watch the sunset with a cold beer. This was what retirement was supposed to feel like, but something was missing. After a month, I realized what it was. I was lonely. Sure, I'd chat with other expats at the bars, swap stories about the good old days back home, but I missed having someone special, someone to share these sunsets with, someone who actually cared about my day. I wasn't getting any younger. At 55, I still felt good, still looked decent, but I knew my window was closing. If I was going to find love again, it had to be now, in this tropical paradise where anything seemed possible. That's when I found Lucky's Cafe. Small place, open air, right on the main road in Rawai. They served the best iced coffee I'd ever tasted, and the Wi-Fi actually worked. I started going there every morning, same table, same order. That's where I first saw Nenah. She wasn't just beautiful, she was radiant. Long black hair that caught the sunlight, eyes that sparkled when she smiled, and this graceful way of moving that made everyone else in the room disappear. She worked behind the counter, but she wasn't just another coffee shop girl. There was something different about her. Intelligence, class, a warmth that felt genuine. For 3 days I just watched her. I'm not proud of it, but I was nervous. What would a woman like that want with a 55-year-old retiree from Ohio? But on the 4th day, she noticed me staring. "You like the coffee here?" she asked, walking over to my table. Her English was excellent, with just a hint of Thai accent that made everything sound musical. "Best in Phuket," I said, trying to sound casual. "I'm Nenah," she said, extending her hand. "You're American?" "Brian." "And yes, guilty as charged." She laughed, and I swear the whole cafe got brighter. We talked for maybe 10 minutes that first time, nothing deep, just small talk about Phuket, about America, about the weather. But there was something there, a connection, chemistry. When she walked away, I was already planning my next visit. Over the next 2 weeks, our conversations got longer. I learned she was 28, from a small fishing village north of Phuket. She was working to support her family while taking English classes at night. She wanted to start her own business someday, maybe a small restaurant or guest house. She was ambitious, hardworking, and kind. When elderly customers came in, she'd spend extra time with them, making sure they understood the menu. When kids ran around the cafe, she'd playfully chase them, making them giggle. She had this natural sweetness that seemed to touch everyone around her. I was falling hard. I finally worked up the courage to ask her out. We went to a small seafood restaurant on the beach. Nothing fancy, but the food was incredible and the sunset was perfect. Nenah wore a simple white dress that made her look like an angel. She told me about her dreams, her family, her struggles. Her father had died when she was young, leaving her mother to raise 3 children alone. Nenah was the oldest, so she felt responsible for everyone. She sent most of her salary home to help pay for her younger brother's university and her sister's wedding. I was touched by her devotion to family. In America, kids barely call their parents. Here was this beautiful, intelligent woman sacrificing her own dreams to take care of everyone else. "You're very generous," I told her. "Family is everything," she said simply. "Without family, what do we have?" That night, we walked along the beach under a full moon. The waves lapped gently at our feet and Nenah slipped her hand into mine. It felt perfect, natural, like we were meant to be together. "Brian," she said softly, "I feel very comfortable with you. Very safe." "I feel the same way," I said, and I meant it. We kissed under the stars, and I thought this must be what paradise feels like. For the next 3 months we were inseparable. Nenah would finish work at the cafe, and we'd spend the rest of the day together. Beach walks, temple visits, trying new restaurants, exploring hidden waterfalls in the jungle. She showed me the real Phuket, the places tourists never see. I was happier than I'd been in years, maybe ever. Nenah made everything better. The food tasted better, the sunsets looked more beautiful, even the rain seemed romantic when we were caught in it together. I started thinking about the future, about marriage, about making this permanent. I had found my soulmate in paradise and I wanted to make it official. Then the request started. It was subtle at first. Nenah would mention her family's struggles during our dinner conversations. Her mother needed medication that was expensive. Her brother's university fees were due. Her sister's wedding was coming up, and they needed money for the ceremony. I noticed the worry lines on Nenah's face when she talked about these things. She'd try to hide it, but I could see the stress eating at her. How could I enjoy my paradise while the woman I loved was suffering? "Let me help," I offered one evening after she mentioned her mother's medical bills. "Oh no, Brian," she said quickly. "I cannot ask you for money. That would not be right." "You're not asking. I'm offering. I care about you, Nenah. I care about your family." I transferred $500 to her account that night. Nenah cried when she saw it, holding me tight and thanking me over and over. "You are an angel," she whispered. "My family will never forget your kindness." It felt good, really good. I had the power to solve problems, to make the woman I loved happy, to help people who really needed it. This was what money was for, right? To help the people you care about. Over the next month, the requests became more frequent. Her brother needed a laptop for his studies. Her family's roof was leaking before the rainy season. Her cousin was starting a small business selling fruit and needed seed money. Each time Nenah was reluctant to accept. Each time I insisted. I loved her generosity toward her family. I loved being part of that generosity. But I started noticing other things too. Nenah began to check her phone more often during our dates. Sometimes she'd step away to take calls, speaking rapidly in Thai. When I asked who called, she'd just say family business and change the subject. She also started talking more about money in general, about how hard life was for Thai people, how much easier Americans had it, how unfair the world was. I agreed with her. I knew I was privileged. I wanted to use that privilege to help. One evening, an older expat named Mike approached me at our usual bar. "You're dating Nenah from Lucky's Cafe, right?" he asked. "That's right," I said, immediately defensive. I'd seen Mike around. He was one of those bitter expats who complained about everything. "Just be careful, mate," he said. "I've seen this story before. Beautiful Thai girl, older Western guy, lots of family problems that need expensive solutions. Nenah's not like that," I snapped. "She's genuine. She loves me for who I am, not what I have." Mike shrugged. "Maybe you're right. Maybe she's different. Just keep your eyes open, yeah?" I left the bar angry. Who was Mike to judge Nenah? He didn't know her like I did. He hadn't seen her kindness, her sweetness, her love for her family. He was just a jaded old man who couldn't believe in real love anymore. But his words stuck with me. A tiny seed of doubt planted in the back of my mind. The requests started getting bigger, much bigger. Nenah's family needed $2,000 to pay off debt to loan sharks. Her brother got into an accident and needed $3,000 for hospital bills. Her mother's medicine stopped working and she needed experimental treatment that cost $5,000. Each story was more urgent, more emotional than the last. Nenah would cry when she told me these things, begging me not to worry about her family's problems. "I'm so sorry, Brian," she'd sob. "I hate that you have to hear about these terrible things. My family has such bad luck." But I loved Nenah. And when you love someone, you help them, even when it hurts. I was transferring money weekly now, sometimes daily. My retirement account, which had seemed so substantial 6 months ago, was shrinking fast. But every time I helped, Nenah would be so grateful, so loving. She'd hold me tight and promise that things would get better soon. "After my brother graduates, he will get a good job," she'd say. "After my mother gets better, we won't need so much medicine. After my sister's wedding, no more big expenses, just a little more help, Brian. Then everything will be okay." I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. But the stories were starting to contradict each other. Nenah said her brother was studying engineering, but later mentioned he was studying business. She said her mother had diabetes, but then talked about her heart problems, small inconsistencies that I tried to ignore. One night, I couldn't sleep. I got up and went through my bank statements. In 4 months, I had given Nenah over $20,000. $20,000, money I had worked 30 years to save. The panic hit me like a wave. What was I doing? This wasn't sustainable. At this rate, I'd be broke within a year. I tried to talk to Nenah about it the next day. "Nenah, we need to discuss the money situation," I said gently. "I want to help your family, but..." "But what?" she interrupted, her eyes flashing. "You don't want to help us anymore." "It's not that. It's just the amounts are getting very large and..." "Brian," she said, her voice breaking, "do you think I enjoy asking you for help? Do you think this is easy for me? I am so ashamed that my family needs so much." She started crying, and I felt horrible. No, Nenah, I didn't mean, if you cannot help us, just say so," she sobbed. "We will find another way. Maybe my mother will just have to suffer. Maybe my brother will have to quit university." I couldn't bear to see her cry. So I held her close and promised to help with whatever she needed. The conversation was over, but the seed of doubt that Mike had planted was growing into a tree. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The stories weren't adding up. The amounts were getting ridiculous, and Nenah herself seemed different. Lately, more distant, more focused on her phone, less interested in our romantic time together. I decided to do something I'd never done before. I decided to investigate. Nenah had mentioned that her family lived in a village called Ban Thalang, about an hour north of Phuket town. She described it as a poor fishing village where her mother lived in a small wooden house with her siblings. Told Nenah I was going to spend the day in Phuket town, shopping and visiting temples. Instead, I rented a motorbike and drove to Ban Thalang. The village was exactly as Nenah had described. Small, poor, mostly fishing families living in simple houses. I asked around about Nenah's family, showing her photo on my phone. "Oh yes, Nenah," said an elderly woman at a local shop. "She is from here, but her family. They moved to Bangkok many years ago. Her mother remarried a wealthy man. They have a big house now, I heard." My heart started pounding. "Are you sure?" "Nenah told me her mother still lives here." The woman shrugged. "Maybe I am confused, but I think Nenah's family is doing very well now. Rich husband, nice life in Bangkok." I drove back to Phuket in a daze. If Nenah's family was wealthy, if her mother had remarried a rich man, then what were all these medical bills for? What were all these emergencies? That evening I couldn't pretend anymore. "Nenah," I said when she came over for dinner, "I went to Ban Thalang today." The color drained from her face. "What? Why?" "I wanted to see where you grew up. I thought maybe I could help your family more directly." Nenah was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "Brian, why would you do that without telling me?" "I talked to some people there. They said your family moved to Bangkok years ago. They said your mother married a wealthy man." Nenah's expression changed completely. The sweetness vanished, replaced by something cold and calculating. "So?" she said finally. "So? Nenah, you told me your family was poor. You told me your mother was sick and couldn't afford medicine. You told me. I told you what you wanted to hear, she interrupted, her voice flat. The words hit me like a physical blow. What? Brian, you are a lonely old man with money. You wanted to feel important, to feel needed. I gave you that feeling. You should be grateful. I stared at her, unable to process what I was hearing. This wasn't the Nenah I knew. This wasn't the woman I loved. The hospital bills, your brother's university, your sister's wedding? All real, she said with a shrug. But not necessary. My family has money. Why spend our money when we can spend yours? The truth hit me like a tsunami. Everything, the sweet smiles, the family devotion, the gratitude, the love, all of it was an act. A performance designed to separate me from my money. How long? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. How long what? How long have you been planning this? Since the first day at the cafe? Nenah laughed, and it was the cruelest sound I'd ever heard. Brian, you walked into Lucky's cafe with lonely rich foreigner written all over your face. You were perfect, old enough to have money, young enough to think you could still get a beautiful young woman. You said you loved me. I said what you needed to hear. You paid $20,000 to feel loved for a few months. That's actually a bargain. Some men pay much more. I felt sick, physically sick. The woman I had planned to marry, the woman I had dreamed of growing old with, was a stranger, a predator. Get out, I said quietly. Brian, don't be angry. You got what you wanted. You felt loved, felt important, felt like a hero saving my poor family. We both benefited. Get out, I shouted. Nenah's mask slipped completely then. Her face twisted with contempt. You stupid old man, she spat. Did you really think a woman like me would love someone like you for free? You're old, you're boring, and you're not even that rich. But you were easy. So easy. She grabbed her purse and headed for the door, then turned back. Don't feel too sorry for yourself, she said with a cruel smile. There are 5 other men just like you right now, all thinking they're my one true love. You were just the biggest wallet. The door slammed and I was alone. The next few weeks were the darkest of my life. I felt like I was drowning in shame and regret. How could I have been so stupid, so blind, so naive? I replayed every moment of our relationship, looking for clues I had missed. They were everywhere. The way she always steered conversations toward money, the way her phone was always buzzing with messages, the way she never wanted to meet my expat friends, the way her stories kept changing. I had seen what I wanted to see and ignored everything else. I called my bank and credit card companies, hoping to reverse some of the transfers. Too late. The money was gone, scattered across multiple accounts, untraceable. $20,000. Gone. Just like that. But the money wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was the betrayal. The realization that someone I had trusted completely, someone I had loved with all my heart, had been laughing at me behind my back the entire time. I started drinking more than I should. I stopped going to the beach, stopped eating properly, stopped taking care of myself. Paradise had turned into prison. Mike found me at the bar one night, drunk and feeling sorry for myself. Rough patch? He asked, sitting down beside me. You tried to warn me, I said. I should have listened. Maybe. Or maybe you needed to learn this lesson yourself. 20 grand lesson. Pretty expensive education. Mike bought me another drink. Could have been worse. I know guys who lost their houses, their life savings, their families back home. You lost money. Money can be replaced. Can it? I'm 56 years old, Mike. I don't have another 30 years to rebuild my retirement fund. No, but you've got maybe 20 good years left. That's enough time to be more careful next time. Next time, I laughed bitterly. There won't be a next time. I'm done with Thai women. Done with relationships. Done with trusting anyone. Mike shook his head. That would be a mistake. Nenah was a con artist, a professional, but not every Thai woman is Nenah. Hell, not every woman is Nenah. Don't let one bad apple ruin the whole orchard. It took me months to start feeling human again. Slowly, very slowly, I began to rebuild my life. I moved to a different part of Phuket, away from Rawai and the memories. I started exercising again, eating better, taking care of myself. I joined an expat support group, where I met other men who had similar experiences. I wasn't alone in my stupidity. I learned that Nenah wasn't unique. There's a whole industry built around targeting lonely foreign men. Professional romance scammers who study their marks, learn their weaknesses, and exploit them with surgical precision. I also learned that Mike was right. For every Nenah, there were dozens of genuine Thai women looking for real relationships. Women who worked honest jobs, supported their families without scamming foreigners, and were capable of real love. But I wasn't ready for that yet. Maybe I never would be. I started volunteering at a local animal shelter, helping abandoned dogs and cats. Animals don't lie. They don't manipulate. When a dog loves you, it's real. I also started writing. I wrote about my experience, about the warning signs I had ignored, about the lessons I had learned. I shared my story online, hoping to help other men avoid the same trap. The responses were overwhelming. Hundreds of men shared similar stories. Some had lost more than me, some had lost everything, but we had all learned the same lesson. Paradise can be a trap if you're not careful. A year later, I'm still in Phuket. Still single, still cautious, but no longer broken. I've learned to enjoy my own company again. I wake up when I want, eat what I want, go where I want. No one is asking me for money. No one is spinning sob stories about sick relatives. No one is performing fake love for my benefit. It's peaceful. Maybe a little lonely sometimes, but peaceful. I've made real friends among the expat community. Men and women who have been here for years, who know the real Thailand behind the tourist facade. They've taught me to be more careful, more observant, more skeptical. I've also learned to appreciate Thailand for what it really is, not what I projected onto it. It's a beautiful country with wonderful people and rich culture. But it's also a place where poverty and wealth exist side by side, where some people will do anything to survive, and where foreign money attracts both genuine friends and skilled predators. My advice to anyone considering a similar move: come with your eyes open. Trust but verify. Be generous but not stupid. And remember that if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Especially if you're a lonely older man with money walking into paradise looking for love. Because sometimes the most beautiful trap is the one you walk into willingly. 2. Years after Nenah, I'm sitting on my terrace watching another Phuket sunset. They're still beautiful, but I see them differently now. I see them with clear eyes, not rose-colored glasses. I got a message last week from a guy named Robert. He'd read my story online. He was planning to retire to Thailand and wanted to know if I'd meet him for coffee when he arrived, show him around, help him avoid the traps I fell into. I said yes. Maybe that's my purpose now, helping other dreamers navigate paradise without losing their shirts or their hearts. The sunset tonight is particularly spectacular. Orange and pink clouds reflected in the calm sea. A few fishing boats heading home for the day. The sound of waves and distant laughter from the beach. It's beautiful, real beautiful. Not the fake beautiful I thought I found with Nenah. Sometimes, the real paradise is the one you build yourself, brick by careful brick, with eyes wide open and heart protected, but still open to possibility. Because Mike was right. Not every woman is Nenah, and maybe, just maybe, there's real love waiting out there in paradise when I'm ready for it, when I'm wise enough to recognize it, when I'm strong enough to trust again. Until then, I've got this sunset, this beer, and this hard-earned wisdom. It's not the paradise I came looking for, but it might be the paradise I actually needed. Remember, your dreams don't have to become nightmares. Paradise is real, but so are the traps. Keep your eyes open, your heart guarded, and your wallet closed until you're absolutely sure. Have you ever fallen for a beautiful lie? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might save someone else from making the same mistake. Subscribe for more real stories to Retired Tales, the good, the bad, and the expensive lessons. Remember, your dreams don't have to become nightmares. Paradise is real, but so are the traps. Keep your eyes open, your heart guarded, and your wallet closed until you're absolutely sure. Have you ever fallen for a beautiful lie? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might save someone else from making the same mistake. Subscribe for more real stories to Retired Tales, the good, the bad, and the expensive lessons.